You're exactly where you need to be right now. Whatever brought you here tonight, whatever restless thoughts have been circling through your mind, whatever sleep struggles you've been carrying, they all led you to this moment. And this moment is perfect, because tonight you're not just learning about history. You're coming home to the most ancient bedtime story your DNA has ever known. Your restless mind carries ancient wisdom that's been trying to surface for years. Every time you've tossed and turned, every night you've stared at the ceiling, every moment you've wondered why sleep feels so difficult, your nervous system has been calling out for something it remembers but can't quite name. Tonight, we're going to give that deep part of you exactly what it's been searching for. Close your eyes for just a moment and take a breath. Feel how your body naturally wants to settle, how your shoulders want to drop, how your breathing wants to slow. This isn't something you have to force or create. It's something you inherit, something that's been waiting inside you for 40,000 years. Imagine stepping back through time, through centuries and millennia, until you reach a world covered in ice. The air is crystal clear and impossibly cold. Massive glaciers stretch across continents like frozen oceans. This is the world your ancestors called home, and it was the most dangerous place humans have ever lived. Yet somehow, amazingly, they slept better than we do today. Picture this scene unfolding before you like the world's most peaceful movie. It's evening, 40,000 years ago. The sun is setting over an endless expanse of white, painting the ice fields in soft oranges and purples. In the distance you can see the dark opening of a cave, and from within comes the warm glow of firelight. Smoke drifts gently from the entrance, carrying with it the promise of warmth, safety, and rest. Feel yourself drawn toward that cave, not as a stranger, but as family returning home. These are your people, your ancestors, and they've been waiting for you to remember this place. As you approach, you hear the soft murmur of voices, the gentle crackle of flames, and underneath it all, the steady rhythm of peaceful breathing. Step inside this sacred space and feel the immediate contrast. Outside, the temperature has dropped to 40 below zero. Winds howl across the tundra. Massive predators prowl in the darkness. Yet here, inside this carefully chosen sanctuary, warmth embraces you like the most perfect blanket you've ever known. Look around this ancient bedroom and see how every detail speaks to comfort and safety. Animal furs have been arranged not randomly, but with the precision of interior designers who understood that survival depended on rest. The fire burns in just the right spot to provide warmth without smoke. The walls curve in a way that holds heat while deflecting wind. The entrance faces away from prevailing storms. This isn't primitive. This is sophisticated sleep engineering that took thousands of years to perfect. Watch as families settle into their evening routines. Children naturally gravitate toward the warmest spots. Adults position themselves where they can watch the entrance while still accessing the fire's heat. Elderly members take the places where rising warm air collects. Every person has a role, every position has a purpose, and the entire arrangement creates a symphony of safety that allows the deepest possible rest. Feel your own body responding to this ancient scene. Notice how your breathing naturally slows as you witness their peaceful preparation. Your nervous system recognizes something profoundly familiar about this cave, something that speaks to the deepest parts of your brain that were formed when your species learned to transform terror into tranquility. Your ancestors faced the ultimate survival test every single night. Outside their sanctuary waited creatures that could kill them in seconds, temperatures that could freeze them in minutes, storms that could bury them forever. Yet they developed the most remarkable ability. They could look at this danger and feel not fear, but gratitude for the safety they had created together. This is your inheritance. Every time you pull a blanket close to your chin, you're honoring a 40,000-year-old tradition. Every time you seek warmth and darkness for sleep, You're following neural pathways carved by countless generations who mastered the art of rest. Every time you feel safer with sounds of other people nearby, you're accessing the tribal sleep wisdom that kept humanity alive through the most challenging period in our history. Tonight, you're not fighting insomnia. You're not battling your body's natural rhythms. You're not struggling with something that's broken. You're remembering how to be human. You're awakening a sleep system so sophisticated, so perfectly designed, that it carried your entire species through an ice age that would have killed us all if we hadn't learned to rest with absolute perfection. Feel the weight of this truth settling into your bones. You come from the greatest sleepers in human history. The ability to find peace in danger, to create safety in chaos, to transform any space into a sanctuary. This lives in your DNA. It's not something you need to learn. It's something you need to remember. As we prepare to journey deeper into their world, let your modern worries begin to fade like smoke from their sacred fires. Let your restless thoughts settle like snowflakes finally finding the ground. You are exactly where your ancestors knew you would someday be, safe, warm, and ready to remember the sleep of your people. Your ancestors weren't just sleeping through the night, they were performing a survival ritual so sophisticated that it kept their tribes alive for thousands of years. What they discovered about rest and restoration makes modern sleep science look like its very first day of school. Tonight, you're going to learn their protocol, and more importantly, you're going to feel it awakening in your own body. Feel yourself settling deeper into their world as evening approaches. The test begins the moment the sun touches the horizon, temperature dropping fast. Darkness bringing hunters that make modern nightmares look like friendly puppets. Resources limited to what they could carry or create with their own hands. Yet watch what happens in this cave as night falls. Instead of panic, you see preparation. Instead of fear, you witness the most beautiful transformation from day consciousness to night consciousness. These remarkable humans understood something we've forgotten. Sleep isn't rest. It's the most powerful healing technology ever developed. While they lay still in their furs, their bodies performed miracles that would leave modern doctors speechless. Watch as wounds begin to heal at rates that seem impossible. Bones knit together with strength that surpasses what we achieve with modern medicine. Immune systems activate with the precision of the world's most advanced pharmacy. Picture their bodies as incredibly intelligent healing machines, using every moment of darkness to repair, restore, and strengthen. Growth hormone flooding their systems at levels we rarely see today. Stem cells mobilizing to damaged areas with the efficiency of emergency response teams. Brain cells clearing toxins and metabolic waste with the thoroughness of the world's best cleaning service. Feel your own body beginning to remember this process as you listen. Your cells carry the same repair programming that guided them through the harshest conditions humans have ever faced. Right now, as your breathing naturally slows and your muscles begin to soften, ancient healing protocols are preparing to activate in your own system. They discovered that sleep architecture, the precise timing and depth of different sleep phases was more important than the amount of sleep. 4 hours of perfectly structured rest could accomplish more restoration than 8 hours of disrupted, shallow sleep. They learn to sink immediately into the deep stages where real healing happens, stay there for optimal periods, then cycle through REM phases that consolidated survival knowledge and processed emotional experiences. Watch as the cave settles into evening rhythm. Children who played hard all day naturally fall into the exhausted sleep that maximizes growth hormone release. Adults who faced physical challenges cycle through repair phases that rebuild muscle, bone, and organs. Elderly members enter the gentle sleep stages that maintain cognitive function and emotional wisdom. Notice how their breathing synchronizes without any conscious effort. 20. 30 people breathing in rhythm, creating the most soothing sound your nervous system has ever known. This isn't coincidence. It's sophisticated group psychology that enhances everyone's sleep quality through shared calm. Feel your own breathing wanting to match their ancient rhythm. Let it happen naturally without forcing or controlling. 4 counts in through your nose, absorbing the warmth and filtering the cold. 2 counts holding, allowing your body to extract every bit of oxygen and life force. 6 counts out through your nose, releasing tension and toxins that have no place in your rest. Their bodies performed restoration miracles every night because they understood something crucial. Healing happens in safety, not just physical safety, but psychological safety. The absolute certainty that they were protected, valued, and cared for by their tribe. This safety signaled their nervous systems to stop defending and start repairing. You can feel this same safety beginning to settle around you now. You're not alone in some isolated struggle with sleep. You're connected to an unbroken chain of humans who mastered rest so completely that they survived conditions that would be impossible today. Their strength lives in your DNA, their calm lives in your nervous system. Their healing abilities live in every cell of your body. Picture their morning awakenings and understand why they slept so peacefully. They woke stronger than they went to sleep. Injuries healed, energy restored, minds clear and sharp, bodies ready for whatever challenges the day might bring. Sleep wasn't something that happened to them. It was their secret weapon, their nightly transformation from merely human to superhuman. This is your inheritance. This is what your body wants to do every night. Not the struggle and frustration of modern sleep problems, but the effortless, powerful restoration that your ancestors perfected. Tonight, as you prepare for your own rest, you're not hoping for sleep. You're stepping into a healing chamber that has been perfected over 40,000 years. Feel that truth settling into your bones. Feel your body beginning to remember its own magnificent healing abilities. Feel the ancient sleep protocol awakening in your cells, preparing to give you the kind of rest that transforms ordinary humans into survivors, into thrivers, into the ancestors that future generations will marvel at. But to unlock their deepest secrets, to access the full power of ancestral sleep, we must first understand their greatest test, the one that would challenge everything you think you know about survival, about strength, and about what it truly means to rest in perfect peace. Close your eyes and step completely into their world now. Feel the weight of mammoth hide boots on your feet, crafted by hands that understood survival was a work of art. Feel the sting of air so cold it turns your breath into clouds of ice crystals. Feel the primal focus that fills your entire body when survival depends on perfect cooperation with people who would die for you without question. It's midnight, 38,000 years ago, and you're moving across a landscape that looks like another planet. Endless white stretches in every direction, broken only by the massive shapes of creatures that dwarf anything alive today. Above you, stars shine with a clarity that modern eyes have never seen, their light reflecting off ice and snow to create a world that glows with ethereal beauty, even in the deepest darkness. But this isn't a nature documentary you're watching safely from your couch. This is life and death in its purest form. The hunting party moves with the silence of flowing water, each member positioned exactly where thousands of years of tribal wisdom dictates they should be. No wasted energy, no unnecessary movement, no panic or rushed decisions. Just focused, calm determination that comes from absolute trust in your people and absolute mastery of your skills. Feel yourself moving with them across the frozen ground. Your ancestors aren't the primitive cavemen that modern myths imagine. They're sophisticated hunters whose knowledge of animal behavior, weather patterns, and group tactics surpasses anything taught in modern universities. They read tracks like books, understand wind patterns like meteorologists, and coordinate attacks with the precision of elite military units. Watch as they approach their target, a massive mammoth separated from its herd by injury or age. This single animal represents life or death for the entire tribe. Success means everyone sleeps with full bellies, wrapped in warm hides, safe in their cave sanctuary. Failure means another night of hunger, cold, and the gnawing anxiety that weakens sleep and threatens survival. But here's what makes this story about sleep instead of hunting. Notice how they approach this life or death moment. No shouting, no adrenaline-fueled chaos, no panic. Instead, you see something remarkable, the same calm focus they'll use later to sink into the deepest, most restorative sleep imaginable. They've learned to treat survival and rest as two sides of the same skill. Feel the patience in their movements as they position themselves around their prey. This is the same patience that allows them to wait for sleep without fighting it, without anxiety about whether rest will come. They understand that rushing leads to mistakes, that forcing leads to failure, that the most important things in life require gentle persistence rather than violent effort. Picture the moment of the hunt's conclusion, not the violence but the aftermath. Watch as they work together to process this gift that will sustain their tribe for weeks. Every part used, nothing wasted. The meat providing protein for strength, the fat providing calories for warmth, the hide providing shelter for sleep, the bones providing tools for security. One successful hunt creating the foundation for countless nights of peaceful rest. But here's the secret that changes everything about how you understand sleep. As they work, notice what they do with the mammoth's blood. Instead of letting this precious resource drain away, they collect it carefully in containers made from other hunts. This blood, still warm with life, becomes the base for a soup that they'll drink before sleep. Rich with iron, proteins, and nutrients that modern supplements try to replicate but can never match. Feel your body responding to this image not with disgust, but with recognition. Your cells remember this nourishment, this direct connection to life force that created the perfect biochemistry for deep, healing sleep. Their pre-sleep nutrition wasn't processed foods or artificial supplements. It was life-giving life, creating the exact neurotransmitter balance needed for optimal rest. Watch as they return to the cave, successful and satisfied. The hunt is over, but the real magic is just beginning. This success means more than full bellies. It means psychological safety, tribal security, and the absolute peace of mind that allows for perfect sleep. They didn't just find food tonight. They found the foundation for dreams so deep and restorative that they'll wake tomorrow stronger than ever. Picture them settling around their fires, sharing the fruits of their cooperation, feeling the satisfaction that comes from a job perfectly done. This satisfaction doesn't just fill their stomachs, it fills their souls with the contentment that makes sleep not just possible, but inevitable. Feel this same satisfaction beginning to fill your own chest. You may not have hunted mammoth today, but you've survived challenges your ancestors couldn't imagine. You've navigated complexities, solved problems, and made it safely to this moment. Their success and your success are connected across 40,000 years of human persistence and strength. As their feast continues and their bodies prepare for rest, you can feel your own body beginning to remember what satisfaction truly means. Not the hollow pleasure of modern distractions, but the deep contentment that comes from meaningful work, successful cooperation, and the certainty that you've done everything necessary to ensure safety and survival. This is the mindset that creates perfect sleep, not the anxious racing of minds that worry about tomorrow's challenges, but the calm satisfaction of people who have proven, once again, that they are capable of meeting whatever life requires. Feel this ancient confidence settling into your bones as we discover what they did next. that would change the way you think about rest forever. The hunt is over. The tribe is safe. Now witness humanity's most ancient and powerful sleep ritual as they gather around flames that have burned continuously for generations, passed from elder to apprentice in an unbroken chain of wisdom that stretches back to the very beginning of human consciousness. Feel yourself settling in among them as the fire ceremony begins. This isn't just warmth and light. This is sophisticated neuroscience practiced by people who understood the human brain better than any modern textbook. Watch as the firekeeper, always the wisest and most respected member of the tribe, begins the sacred process that will guide everyone from day consciousness into the realm of perfect sleep. The firekeeper moves with deliberate slowness, adding special woods that have been gathered and prepared specifically for evening use. Cedar that releases compounds proven by modern science to reduce cortisol and anxiety. Birch bark that creates smoke-carrying natural sedatives your ancestors discovered thousands of years before laboratories existed. Pine resin that fills the air with aromatherapy molecules that trigger deep relaxation responses in your limbic system. Breathe deeply and imagine these ancient scents filling your nostrils, carrying with them not just pleasant aromas, but chemical messages that your brain recognizes as signals for safety, rest, and healing. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish between their fire and the memory of their fire. It responds to the invitation to calm that has been coded into human DNA for millennia. Watch as the tribe settles into their traditional circle around the flames. Children naturally gravitate to the spots where warmth is strongest. Adults position themselves where they can see everyone while still receiving the fire's benefits. Elderly members take the honored seats where rising heat creates perfect comfort for aging joints and bones. Every position has been tested over centuries of nights, optimized for both physical comfort and psychological safety. Listen as the firekeeper begins to speak, but notice that this isn't ordinary conversation. The rhythm of their voice matches the optimal cadence for brainwave synchronization. The pace of their words naturally slows your thinking, lengthens your breathing, and guides your consciousness toward the alpha state that serves as the gateway to profound rest. Feel your own breathing beginning to match the rhythm of their ancient storytelling. 4 beats in as they describe the day's successes. Hold for 2 beats as they pause between thoughts. 6 beats out as they share gratitude for survival, safety, and the blessing of another day lived in harmony with their people. The stories they tell aren't entertainment. They're precisely crafted psychological tools designed to prepare minds for optimal sleep. Each tale carries the same essential messages. The tribe is strong. The people are safe. Challenges can be overcome through cooperation. And rest is not just deserved, but sacred. Picture the faces around the fire as these stories work their ancient magic. Lines of worry disappearing from foreheads. Tense shoulders dropping as muscles release the day's stress. Breathing becoming deeper and more synchronized as individual anxiety dissolves into collective peace. But the fire ceremony goes deeper than relaxation. Watch as the flames create patterns that naturally induce light hypnotic states. The flickering light stimulates theta brain waves associated with deep meditation and creativity. The warmth triggers vasodilation that prepares bodies for the temperature drop necessary for sleep initiation. The carbon dioxide from burning wood creates a mildly euphoric state that enhances feelings of well-being and safety. Feel this same phenomenon beginning in your own body as you picture yourself in their circle. The gentle flickering of imagined flames working on your visual cortex. The phantom warmth of their fire triggering real vasodilation in your hands and feet. The rhythm of their breathing beginning to synchronize your own respiratory patterns with optimal sleep preparation. Listen to the sounds beyond their voices. The soft crackling of burning wood, creates natural white noise that masks sudden sounds while remaining rhythmic and soothing. The gentle breathing of the tribe creates a human lullaby more effective than any manufactured sleep aid. The occasional shifting of bodies on furs produces the quiet rustling that signals safety and companionship to nervous systems designed for tribal living. The fire ceremony reaches its peak as children begin to naturally fall asleep where they sit. No struggle, no resistance, no bedtime battles. Their young nervous systems, unpolluted by modern stimulation and stress, respond instantly to the ancient sleep signals their DNA recognizes as bedtime. Watch as parents gently lift sleeping children and arrange them in the safest, warmest spots. See how the entire tribe participates in protecting the most vulnerable members, creating layers of security that allow for the deepest possible rest. This isn't just childcare, it's community sleep architecture that ensures everyone's nervous system can shift into full restoration mode. Feel the profound beauty of this scene settling into your heart. You're witnessing the moment when individual survival becomes collective thriving, when personal rest becomes tribal strength, when ancient wisdom creates the perfect conditions for healing, growth, and dreams that will guide tomorrow's survival. As the ceremony continues and the fire burns lower, you can sense something magical beginning to happen to their consciousness. The boundary between waking and sleeping starts to blur in the most beautiful way, creating a transition so gentle and natural that sleep becomes not something that happens to them, but something they flow into like water finding its natural level. This is the sleep preparation your nervous system remembers, but modern life has forgotten. Feel it awakening in your own body now as we discover the story they told. Every single night, the legend that programmed their dreams for 40,000 years and is about to transform your understanding of what sleep can truly be. The fire burns lower now, casting dancing shadows that seem to move with purpose across the cave walls. The firekeeper's voice grows softer, taking on the special cadence reserved for the most sacred story of all. The legend that has been told every night for thousands of years. The story that programs peaceful dreams and connects sleeping minds to the vast wisdom of those who came before. Feel yourself leaning in closer as the ancient tale begins, your consciousness naturally shifting into the receptive state that your ancestors entered every evening at this same moment. This isn't just storytelling, this is neuro-linguistic programming developed over millennia to create optimal mental conditions for restorative sleep and meaningful dreams. Listen with both your modern mind and your ancient heart as the firekeeper weaves the legend of the dream walk, the sacred journey that every sleeper takes when consciousness releases its grip on the physical world and ventures into realms where time works differently, where wisdom flows freely, and where the boundary between life and death becomes beautifully, mysteriously thin in their understanding. Sleep wasn't unconsciousness, it was heightened consciousness. When your body stilled and your breathing deepened, when your eyes closed and your muscles relaxed, you weren't becoming less aware. You were becoming more aware, able to perceive truths and receive guidance that the busy, waking mind could never access. Picture this understanding settling into your own mind like warm honey, dissolving the modern misconception that sleep is somehow lost time or wasted hours. Feel your relationship with rest beginning to shift from something you endure to something you anticipate with genuine excitement and curiosity. The legend speaks of a great path that becomes visible only when ordinary sight fades away. This dream path stretches across landscapes more beautiful than any earthly scene, connecting the sleeping mind to places where departed loved ones continue their existence in forms of pure wisdom and boundless love. Feel the power of this imagery working on your subconscious mind. Instead of fearing the vulnerability of sleep, you begin to feel excitement about the adventure that awaits. Instead of anxiety about losing consciousness, you develop curiosity about what your dreaming mind might discover. In their worldview, every dream served a purpose. Nightmares weren't random terror, they were protection, allowing the mind to practice responses to danger in a safe environment. Peaceful dreams weren't mere entertainment, they were blessings, gifts of beauty and restoration that healed emotional wounds and renewed hope for tomorrow's challenges. Dreams of departed ancestors weren't wishful thinking. They were intelligence gathering, accessing genetic memories and cultural wisdom stored in neural networks that modern science is only beginning to understand. Dreams of future events weren't superstition, they were processing sessions, where the subconscious mind analyzed patterns and projected likely outcomes, based on subtle environmental clues that conscious awareness had missed. Picture your own dreams taking on this new meaning as you listen. Instead of random neural firing, they become purposeful journeys. Instead of meaningless chaos, they become meaningful communication from the wisest parts of yourself. Instead of something that happens to you, they become something you actively participate in for healing, learning, and growth. The legend describes dreamwalkers who learn to maintain awareness during their nightly journeys, able to navigate the spirit realm with intention and return with specific knowledge needed for tribal survival. These skilled dreamers could locate game, predict weather, identify safe travel routes, and even communicate with other tribes across vast distances. Feel your own capacity for conscious dreaming beginning to awaken as you absorb this ancient understanding. Your sleeping mind is capable of far more than you've been taught to believe. It can solve problems that stump your waking consciousness, access memories and knowledge you thought were lost, and connect you to sources of wisdom that exist beyond the boundaries of your individual experience. But the most beautiful aspect of the Dreamwalk legend is its promise of connection. In their understanding, no one dreams alone. Every sleeper joins a vast network of consciousness where individual minds touch and influence each other in ways that create collective wisdom, shared strength, and communal healing. Picture yourself becoming part of this ancient network as your own sleep deepens tonight. Your dreams connected to the dreams of countless others across time and space. Your rest contributing to and drawing from a reservoir of human experience that stretches back to the very beginning of consciousness itself. The Firekeeper's voice grows even softer now, the legend reaching its most sacred moment. They speak of the great truth that makes all sleep holy, that during the deepest phases of rest, the boundaries between individual and universal dissolve completely. The sleeping person becomes one with the eternal wisdom that flows through all existence, receiving downloads of knowledge and healing that transform them at the cellular level. Feel this truth resonating in the depths of your being. Sleep isn't just personal restoration, it's spiritual communion with the fundamental forces that create and sustain life itself. Every night, you have access to this same transcendent experience that your ancestors treasured as the most precious gift of human existence. As the legend concludes, and the fire burns even lower, you can feel the entire tribe settling into the profound peace that comes from understanding sleep as sacred adventure rather than unconscious vulnerability. Their faces show not the worry of modern insomniacs, but the eager anticipation of travelers preparing for the most beautiful journey possible. This is the mindset that creates perfect sleep, not the fearful resistance of minds that view rest as dangerous loss of control, but the joyful surrender of consciousness that knows it's about to embark on the most meaningful and restorative experience available to human beings. Feel this ancient excitement about sleep beginning to replace any modern anxiety you might carry about rest. Tonight, you're not losing consciousness. You're gaining access to realms of beauty, wisdom, and healing that can only be reached through the sacred doorway of sleep. But first, we must understand how they prepared their bodies for this mystical journey through the most practical and profound sleep position ever developed. As the sacred story reaches its end and the fire settles into glowing embers, something beautiful begins to happen in the cave. Without words or direction, the tribe starts to move with the choreographed precision of a dance that has been performed every night for thousands of years. You're about to witness humanity's original sleep formation, the arrangement that kept our species warm, safe, and emotionally connected through the most challenging nights in human history. Feel yourself being gently drawn into this ancient choreography as bodies begin to shift and settle into positions that honor both survival necessity and psychological wisdom. This isn't random arrangement. This is sophisticated group sleeping architecture developed over millennia to optimize warmth conservation, protection from threats, and the deep sense of belonging that creates perfect nervous system calm. Watch as the most vulnerable members of the tribe, the children and injured, naturally migrate toward the center of the group. Not because they're pushed there, but because every person's protective instincts guide them to create layers of safety around those who need it most. Feel the profound beauty of this automatic cooperation, this instinctive prioritizing of community well-being over individual comfort. Picture yourself helping to create this formation, feeling the satisfaction that comes from contributing to something greater than personal survival. Your nervous system recognizes the rightness of this arrangement at the deepest level, remembering when human survival depended on exactly this kind of selfless coordination. See how the adults position themselves in the next ring, close enough to share body heat with the children while maintaining clear sight lines to the cave entrance and potential escape routes. These aren't just sleeping positions, they're tactical arrangements that allow for instant response to any threat while maintaining optimal conditions for rest. The elderly members take the honored position, where rising body heat from the group creates natural warmth zones, where their wisdom remains accessible to anyone who might wake with questions or fears in the night. Their placement isn't just about comfort, it's about maintaining the emotional infrastructure that keeps the entire tribe psychologically secure. Feel the genius of this arrangement, settling into your understanding. No one sleeps alone. No one faces the vulnerability of unconsciousness in isolation. No one bears the full burden of vigilance or protection. Instead, each person becomes part of a living system where individual rest contributes to collective security, and collective security enables perfect individual rest. Picture the physical sensations that accompany this formation. Bodies naturally sharing warmth, creating microclimates that maintain optimal sleeping temperature without external heat sources. The gentle pressure of trusted others nearby, providing the deep touch sensation that signals safety to nervous systems designed for tribal living. Listen to the sounds that emerge as the formation completes itself. The soft rustling of furs and hides being arranged for maximum comfort. The gentle breathing beginning to synchronize as individual respiratory rhythms naturally align with the group pattern. The quiet, settling sounds that signal to every nervous system that preparation is complete and rest can safely begin. But the most powerful aspect of this formation isn't physical, it's psychological. Feel the profound peace that comes from knowing you're completely protected, not by walls or weapons, but by people who value your life as much as their own. This isn't just sleeping arrangement. It's the ultimate expression of human love and commitment to collective survival. Picture your own modern sleep challenges through the lens of this ancient wisdom. How much of your restlessness comes from the isolation that modern life creates? How much of your sleep anxiety stems from facing the night alone without the reassuring presence of your tribe surrounding you with protection and care? Feel your nervous system recognizing the truth that it has been trying to communicate through insomnia and restless nights. You weren't designed to sleep alone in isolated boxes, separated from the people you love and care about. Your deepest neurology expects the warmth, sounds, and presence of community as the foundation for optimal rest. Even in your modern environment, you can create echoes of this ancient formation. the strategic placement of pillows that simulate the gentle pressure of nearby bodies, soft sounds that recreate the rhythm of communal breathing, warmth management that honors your body's need for optimal temperature regulation. But most importantly, you can shift your psychological relationship with sleep from isolated struggle to communal blessing. Instead of fighting rest alone, you can remember that you're part of an unbroken chain of humans who mastered the art of peaceful sleep through cooperation, love, and mutual protection. Watch as the formation reaches its final arrangement, every person positioned exactly where thousands of years of trial and error have proven they should be. Bodies touching lightly but not restrictively. Breathing space maintained but proximity preserved. Individual comfort honored while collective security optimized. Feel the remarkable transformation that happens as this arrangement completes itself. Individual anxiety dissolving into group calm. Personal vigilance softening into shared responsibility. The burden of survival shifting from individual shoulders to the collective strength of the tribe. This is the sleep foundation your nervous system remembers and yearns for, not the isolated anxiety of modern bedrooms, but the profound peace that comes from being completely, unconditionally surrounded by love and protection. As we watch them settle into this perfect formation, we discover the breathing technique that turned their shared warmth into the most powerful sleep induction method ever developed. In the perfectly arranged warmth circle, something magical begins to happen with the tribe's breathing. This isn't just the natural settling that comes with preparation for sleep. This is the activation of a sophisticated respiratory technique that your ancestors developed through thousands of years of life and death trial and error. Tonight, you're going to learn the breathing pattern that kept humans alive in conditions that would be fatal within minutes for modern people. Feel yourself settling deeper into their world as you understand the delicate balance they needed to achieve with every breath. Too shallow, and the incoming air wouldn't warm enough in their nasal passages, leading to hypothermia from the inside out. Too deep, and they would consume dangerous levels of carbon monoxide from the fire, or lose precious heat through excessive exhalation. Picture the precision required for survival breathing in their environment. Air so cold that it could freeze lung tissue if breathed incorrectly. Atmosphere filled with smoke that needed to be filtered through nasal passages while still extracting maximum oxygen. The need to conserve heat while maintaining sufficient ventilation to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning. But here's what makes their breathing technique so powerful for modern sleep. They developed the exact pattern that modern science has identified as optimal for parasympathetic nervous system activation. Without laboratories or research, through pure survival necessity, they discovered the respiratory rhythm that creates perfect conditions for deep, restorative sleep. Watch as their breathing naturally synchronizes throughout the cave, not through conscious effort, but through the automatic nervous system response that occurs when people feel completely safe and connected to their tribe. Individual breathing patterns gradually aligning until the entire group breathes as one organism, creating the most soothing sound your nervous system has ever encountered. Feel your own breathing beginning to match their ancient rhythm as you listen to this description. 4 counts in through your nose, warming and filtering the air, exactly as your ancestors did. Hold for 2 counts, allowing your body to extract every molecule of oxygen and life force. 6 counts out through your nose, releasing tension and toxins while conserving heat and moisture. This isn't just breathing. This is sophisticated stress management that activates your vagus nerve, triggers the relaxation response, and signals every system in your body that it's safe to shift from survival mode into repair and restoration mode. Your ancestors didn't know the science, but they mastered the practice through necessity. Picture the physiological changes that occur as this breathing pattern settles throughout the cave. Heart rates naturally slowing and synchronizing, blood pressure dropping to optimal levels, stress hormones clearing from bloodstreams as calming neurotransmitters flood nervous systems, bodies automatically preparing for the deepest, most restorative sleep cycles. Feel these same changes beginning in your own body as you practice their ancient rhythm. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish between their cave and your modern environment. It responds to the universal signals that this breathing pattern sends about safety, rest, and community connection. Listen to the subtle sounds that accompany their synchronized breathing. The gentle whisper of air moving through healthy nasal passages. The soft rhythm that creates natural white noise, masking any sounds that might disturb sleep while maintaining the reassuring presence of tribal breathing patterns. But the most remarkable aspect of their breathing technique is its effect on consciousness. Watch as their synchronized respiration creates a group meditative state, individual awareness gradually dissolving into collective calm. This isn't loss of consciousness. It's expansion of consciousness beyond the boundaries of individual identity into the shared awareness of tribal unity. Picture your own consciousness beginning to expand as you practice their breathing pattern. The tight grip of individual worry loosening into the broader perspective that comes from feeling connected to something greater than personal survival. Your problems not disappearing, but becoming part of a larger tapestry of human experience that your ancestors navigated successfully for thousands of years. Feel the profound comfort that comes from breathing in rhythm with 40,000 years of human ancestors who faced far greater challenges than you'll ever encounter, yet still found peace, rest, and renewal through this simple but powerful practice, their strength flowing into your lungs with every breath. Watch as the breathing technique reaches its full power throughout the cave. What began as individual survival necessity has transformed into collective transcendence. The boundaries between separate bodies beginning to blur as shared breath creates shared consciousness. Individual sleep preparation becoming tribal meditation that lifts everyone into the optimal state for profound rest. This is the breathing foundation that supported every other aspect of their perfect sleep system. Without this respiratory rhythm, their bodies couldn't achieve the deep relaxation necessary for healing. Without this synchronized pattern, their minds couldn't access the peaceful states required for restorative dreams. Without this shared breath, their nervous systems couldn't feel safe enough to completely surrender to sleep. Feel your own breathing naturally, finding this ancient pattern as we discover what happens when Ice Age humans achieve the brainwave state that modern people spend fortunes trying to reach through meditation retreats and high-tech devices. As the synchronized breathing settles throughout the cave like a gentle tide, something extraordinary begins to happen to their collective consciousness. Without any modern understanding of neuroscience, without any knowledge of brainwave patterns or electrical activity, your ancestors are naturally achieving the exact mental state that modern researchers have identified as optimal for both deep learning and profound rest. Picture their brains beginning to shift from the beta waves of active problem solving into the alpha frequencies that serve as the gateway to transcendent experiences. This isn't something they're trying to do or working to achieve. It's the automatic result of removing all the artificial stimulation that keeps modern minds trapped in chronic stress patterns. Feel yourself beginning to understand why their sleep was so much more restorative than what most people experience today. Their nervous systems never had to fight through the electromagnetic interference of electronic devices. Their minds never had to process the chemical disruption of artificial lights, synthetic foods, or pharmaceutical compounds. Their consciousness never had to navigate the anxiety created by information overload and social media stimulation. Instead, they lived in perfect harmony with natural rhythms that automatically guided their brains through optimal daily cycles. Sunrise naturally triggering cortisol release for healthy awakening. Midday light maintaining alertness and energy. Sunset gradually reducing stimulation to allow melatonin production. Darkness creating the ideal conditions for growth, hormone release, and cellular repair. Watch as alpha waves begin to ripple through their resting minds like gentle currents, in a peaceful lake. In this state, their brains become incredibly efficient at processing the day's experiences, consolidating survival knowledge, and often producing the creative insights that kept the tribe alive through innovation and adaptation. Feel your own mind beginning to slow and soften as you picture yourself among them in this ancient alpha state, your thoughts becoming less linear and demanding, more flowing and intuitive, the constant chatter of modern mental activity settling into the deeper wisdom that emerges when consciousness stops trying to control every moment and starts trusting the natural intelligence of your deeper mind. In alpha state, their minds could process experiences that would have been traumatic if left unintegrated. The day's dangers, challenges, and stresses becoming not sources of ongoing anxiety, but raw material for wisdom, strength, and improved future responses. This is why they could face life-threatening situations daily, yet still sleep deeply. Their brains had the perfect processing system for transforming stress into strength. Picture the remarkable efficiency of their mental processing as alpha waves create the ideal conditions for memory consolidation. Important survival lessons embedding themselves permanently in long-term memory. Unnecessary details and distractions naturally filtering out and dissolving. Emotional experiences finding their proper place in the larger context of tribal life and personal growth. But the most beautiful aspect of their alpha state achievement is how it prepared them for the dreams that would guide tomorrow's survival. In this perfectly balanced brainwave pattern, their minds became incredibly receptive to subtle information, environmental cues they had noticed subconsciously, behavioral patterns in animals, weather signs that would predict tomorrow's conditions. Feel your own mind opening to this same receptivity as you imagine yourself settling into their alpha state, your subconscious awareness becoming more accessible to your conscious mind, intuitive insights that have been trying to surface, finally finding the calm mental environment. They need to emerge into awareness. Their alpha state was so natural and effortless because it emerged from lives lived in complete harmony with circadian rhythms, seasonal cycles, and tribal community. No artificial stimulation to override natural patterns. No isolated anxiety to keep minds trapped in defensive vigilance. No processed foods or synthetic chemicals to disrupt neurotransmitter balance. Picture your own life beginning to align more closely with these natural rhythms that support automatic alpha state achievement. Earlier exposure to natural sunlight, gradual reduction of artificial stimulation in the evening hours, more time in nature and less time staring at screens, more connection with people you care about, and less consumption of synthetic entertainment. Watch as their alpha state deepens throughout the cave, individual minds naturally harmonizing into a collective frequency that enhances everyone's ability to access peaceful, restorative consciousness. This shared mental state creating a field of calm that makes deep sleep not just possible, but inevitable. Feel the profound beauty of this shared consciousness beginning to touch your own mind. You're not just learning about their sleep techniques, you're actually beginning to experience the mental states that made their rest so extraordinarily healing and restorative. Your brain remembering patterns that were natural to your species for thousands of years before modern life disrupted them. But achieving alpha state was just the beginning of their nightly transformation. As their minds settled into this perfect balance between waking and sleeping consciousness, their dreams took on qualities that would seem supernatural to modern people who have forgotten the true power of optimized sleep. Descend deeper now into the remarkable landscape of Ice Age sleep, where their resting minds transformed into the most sophisticated learning laboratories ever developed. While their bodies lay perfectly still in the warmth circle, their brains became extraordinarily active, processing the day's experiences with an efficiency that would make modern supercomputers seem primitive by comparison. Picture yourself floating gently into their dream realm, where sleep wasn't the unconscious void that many modern people experience. but rather a vivid, meaningful theater where survival knowledge was rehearsed, refined and embedded permanently into memory. Every night their minds became universities where the curriculum was life and death, and graduation meant waking up better equipped to thrive in the most challenging environment humans have ever called home. Feel the profound difference between their dream experiences and the fragmented, quickly forgotten dreams that characterize disrupted modern sleep. Their dreams weren't random neural static or meaningless fantasy, they were sophisticated training simulations. That could mean the difference between tribal survival and extinction. Watch as their sleeping minds methodically replay the day's hunting expedition, but not as simple memory playback. Instead, their dreams run thousands of variations, exploring different strategies, testing alternative approaches, and identifying patterns that their conscious minds might have missed during the intensity of actual experience. Tomorrow's hunt will be more successful because tonight's dreams are perfecting technique through pure mental rehearsal. Picture a sleeping hunter whose mind is practicing spear-throwing trajectories, calculating wind patterns and studying animal behavior with the precision of advanced computer modeling. Their dream state allowing them to experience muscle memory training that actually improves physical performance without any waking practice required. Feel your own mind beginning to recognize this same capability within your own sleep system. Your brain wanting to use dreams not for random entertainment, but for processing challenges, rehearsing solutions, and consolidating the knowledge you need for optimal performance in your own complex modern environment. But their memory consolidation went far beyond individual skill development. Watch as sleeping minds throughout the cave begin to process collective experiences, sharing knowledge through dreams in ways that created a tribal intelligence network that spanned both sleeping and waking consciousness. Picture sleeping mothers whose dreams review every interaction with their children, identifying patterns of behavior, health, and development that will guide tomorrow's parenting decisions. Their dream processing creating the intuitive wisdom that kept children safe and helped them develop into capable tribal members. See sleeping elders whose minds are organizing decades of weather observation, animal behavior patterns, and seasonal variations into the comprehensive knowledge systems that would guide the tribe's survival decisions for years to come. Their dream consolidation, creating the wisdom that made them invaluable repositories of life-saving information. Feel the remarkable efficiency of this nightly knowledge processing system. No written records needed because their dream consolidation embedded crucial information directly into long-term memory with perfect accuracy and instant accessibility. No external storage devices required because their optimized sleep created internal databases that could be accessed instantaneously during waking challenges. Watch as their dreams seamlessly blend memory consolidation with emotional processing, ensuring that traumatic experiences don't create ongoing stress, but instead become sources of strength and wisdom. Their sleeping minds automatically finding the meaning and lessons in difficult experiences, transforming potential trauma into resilience and capability. Picture your own sleep beginning to serve this same sophisticated function as you learn to optimize rest quality and dream recall. Your dreams becoming not meaningless entertainment, but purposeful processing sessions where your subconscious mind organizes experiences, practices solutions, and prepares you for optimal performance in tomorrow's challenges. But perhaps most remarkably, their memory consolidation created abilities that would seem supernatural to modern observers. Sleeping hunters who dreamed their way to prey locations they had never consciously noticed. Sleeping gatherers whose dreams revealed food sources and medicinal plants through subconscious pattern recognition that exceeded conscious awareness. Feel the profound intelligence of your own sleeping mind beginning to awaken as you understand that your dreams want to serve the same function. Your subconscious processing power is capable of solving problems, recognizing patterns, and generating insights that your waking mind could never achieve through conscious effort alone. This is why they looked forward to sleep with eager anticipation rather than anxious resistance. Every night promised new learning, deeper understanding, and enhanced capabilities that would improve not just personal survival, but tribal thriving. Sleep wasn't time lost from productive activity. It was the most productive activity possible. Picture yourself beginning to approach your own sleep with this same anticipation and respect. Tonight's rest isn't just physical recovery, it's mental enhancement, problem-solving support, and skill development that will make you more capable, more intuitive, and more successful in every area of your life. Journey now through the remarkable transformation that occurred in Ice Age sleep patterns as the wheel of seasons turned, bringing changes so dramatic that they would overwhelm modern humans within days. Yet your ancestors not only survived these extreme variations, they mastered them, developing seasonal sleep adaptations that turned environmental challenges into opportunities for different types of restoration and growth. Picture the incredible contrast between their summer and winter sleep experiences. Summer nights lasting only 4 precious hours, the sun barely dipping below the horizon before beginning its return journey across endless daylight skies. Winter nights stretching for 16 hours of profound darkness, when survival depended on the ability to rest deeply and conserve energy through the harshest months in human history. Feel yourself experiencing their summer sleep mastery as you imagine resting during those brief northern nights. Their bodies had learned to achieve maximum restoration in minimal time, compressing normal sleep cycles into incredibly efficient patterns that accomplished in 4 hours what disrupted modern sleep often fails to achieve in 8 or 9 hours of restless tossing and turning. Watch as their summer minds quickly sink through light sleep stages directly into the deep wave phases where real healing occurs. No wasted time in the shallow stages that characterize inefficient sleep. No extended periods of restless semi-consciousness. Just immediate, profound rest that restored their bodies completely for the demanding work of warm season survival. Picture their summer dream patterns. Intense, vivid experiences packed with problem-solving activity and memory consolidation that processed complex information at accelerated speeds, their minds working with the efficiency of time-compressed learning systems, embedding crucial summer survival knowledge while their bodies underwent rapid physical restoration. But it's their winter sleep adaptation that reveals the true genius of Ice Age rest mastery. Feel yourself settling into their extended winter sleep cycles, where 16-hour nights became opportunities for the deepest healing and restoration that human bodies have ever achieved. Watch as their winter sleep patterns naturally aligned with the profound darkness, their minds and bodies entering extended phases of cellular repair, growth hormone production, and immune system optimization that modern people never experience because artificial lighting disrupts natural melatonin cycles. Picture their winter dreams taking on a different quality entirely, longer, more contemplative experiences where their minds could process not just immediate survival challenges, but deeper questions of meaning, tribal relationships, and spiritual connection to the natural world that sustained them. Feel the profound wisdom of their seasonal adaptation beginning to awaken in your own consciousness. Your body carries the same genetic programming that allowed them to thrive through these dramatic variations. Your sleep system wants to naturally adjust to seasonal light patterns, honoring the ancient rhythms that created optimal health and restoration. But their seasonal mastery went beyond just adjusting to light cycles. Watch as their entire physiology adapted to seasonal changes in ways that optimized both survival and well-being. Summer bodies becoming lean and efficient for high activity levels. Winter bodies developing the increased fat storage and metabolic efficiency needed for cold weather survival. their summer minds becoming highly focused on immediate challenges, hunting, gathering, traveling, and taking advantage of abundant resources during the brief warm season. Their winter minds becoming more contemplative and creative, using extended rest periods for planning, storytelling, tool-making, and the deeper tribal bonding that sustained communities through harsh months. Feel your own nervous system beginning to recognize these natural seasonal rhythms that modern life has taught you to ignore or resist. Your body wanting to be more active and social during long summer days. Your mind craving more rest, reflection, and inward focus during winter's natural hibernation period. Picture yourself beginning to honor these ancestral rhythms in your own life, allowing your sleep patterns to vary naturally with seasonal changes, rather than fighting against your body's ancient wisdom through artificial lighting and climate control that keeps you trapped in endless summer patterns regardless of natural cycles. Watch as their seasonal sleep adaptation created not just physical health, but psychological resilience that allowed them to find beauty and meaning in both the intense activity of summer survival and the peaceful contemplation of winter rest. They didn't fight seasonal changes, they danced with them, using each season's unique gifts to develop different aspects of human potential. Feel the liberating truth of this seasonal wisdom settling into your understanding. You don't have to maintain the same energy, activity, and sleep patterns year-round. Your body and mind are designed to flow through natural cycles that honor both action and rest, both external engagement and internal reflection. But their greatest seasonal adaptation wasn't physical or mental, it was psychological. They developed an unshakable sense of safety and trust that allowed them to sleep peacefully, no matter what challenges the changing seasons might bring. This psychological foundation became the bedrock of their perfect sleep system, and it's about to transform your understanding of what it truly means to rest in complete peace. Discover now the most remarkable aspect of Ice Age sleep mastery, the unshakable mindset that allowed your ancestors to sleep deeply and peacefully while surrounded by predators that could kill them in seconds. This wasn't ignorance or denial of danger. This was the sophisticated psychological framework that transformed terror into tranquility and made perfect rest possible even in the most threatening environment humans have ever faced. Picture the reality of their nightly situation with complete honesty. Outside the cave entrance, cave bears that stood 12 feet tall on their hind legs prowled through darkness, their massive claws capable of tearing through human flesh like paper. Saber-toothed cats with 6-inch fangs moved silently through shadows, their hunting skills honed by millions of years of evolution. Dire wolves larger than modern horses traveled in packs that could overwhelm even the most prepared human group. Yet archaeological evidence shows us something extraordinary. These humans slept deeply, peacefully, and restoratively through nights filled with creatures that viewed them as prey. Their sleep wasn't shallow or anxious. It wasn't interrupted by constant vigilance or paralyzing fear. Instead, they achieved the kind of profound rest that modern people spend fortunes trying to recreate in perfectly safe environments. Feel yourself beginning to understand the psychological foundation that made this possible as you picture their evening preparations. Watch as they systematically address every potential threat, not with anxiety, but with calm competence that comes from absolute trust in their protection systems. See how they arrange their sentinel schedule with the precision of military strategists, each adult taking specific shifts for vigilance, creating overlapping coverage that ensures no moment of the night goes unmonitored. But notice that those not on watch don't lie awake worrying about danger. They surrender completely to sleep, trusting their safety to the tribal system that has never failed them. Picture their early warning systems developed through thousands of years of trial and refinement. Specific sounds that alert sleeping minds to different types of danger. Animal allies whose behavior changes signal approaching threats. environmental cues that provide advance notice of weather changes or predator movement. These aren't primitive superstitions, these are sophisticated survival technologies that created layers of security. But most importantly, witness their escape route mastery that eliminates the claustrophobic anxiety that would keep modern minds awake with worry. Every sleeping position chosen not just for comfort, but for instant mobility if needed. Multiple cave exits identified and kept clear. Equipment positioned for immediate access. Yet, this preparation doesn't create stress. It creates the deep peace that comes from knowing you're completely prepared for any possibility. Your own nervous system beginning to relax as you understand this approach to safety. The protection psychology wasn't about eliminating all danger. It was about creating such comprehensive preparation that danger became manageable rather than paralyzing. Watch as this systematic approach to protection creates what modern psychology recognizes as secure attachment to sleep. Instead of viewing rest as dangerous vulnerability, they developed absolute trust in their environment, their people, and their own capabilities. Sleep became not a time of helpless unconsciousness, but a well-deserved rest period protected by the most sophisticated security system available, tribal cooperation and mutual care. Picture your own modern sleep challenges through this lens of protection psychology. How much of your restlessness comes from feeling unsafe in ways that your rational mind knows are unrealistic? How much sleep anxiety stems from a nervous system that hasn't been properly assured of your actual security and protection? Feel the profound shift that occurs when you truly understand your current level of safety compared to what your ancestors faced nightly. You sleep behind locked doors in climate-controlled environments, protected by emergency services, medical care, and communication systems that your ancestors couldn't have imagined. Yet somehow, their nervous systems felt safer than yours often does. The secret lies in their community-based security model that created psychological safety through deep tribal bonds. No one faced danger alone. No one carried the full burden of vigilance. No one slept without knowing that people who loved them were actively ensuring their protection throughout the night. Watch as this community protection creates a feedback loop of safety and trust that deepens with every successful night of rest, each peaceful awakening reinforcing confidence in the tribal protection system, each morning of safety strengthening the psychological foundation that makes the next night's sleep even more profound. And yourself beginning to create your own protection psychology that honors both modern reality and ancient wisdom, acknowledging all the actual safety systems in your current environment while also building the social connections and security routines that signal safety to your deep nervous system. Feel the remarkable transformation that occurs when protection becomes not something you worry about, but something you trust completely. Sleep shifting from vulnerable surrender to confident rest. Darkness becoming not a time of exposure, but a sanctuary where you're protected by forces greater than any individual threat. But their sense of safety went even deeper than physical protection, as their absolute trust in tribal security allowed their minds to completely surrender to rest. They discovered something that would revolutionize your understanding of what sleep can accomplish for healing and restoration. Witness now the most extraordinary aspect of Ice Age sleep mastery, the remarkable healing abilities that emerged when human beings achieved truly optimal rest in perfect safety and community. With no hospitals, no medications, no surgical interventions available, your ancestors developed sleep-based healing so powerful that it would be considered miraculous by modern medical standards. Picture their bodies transforming into healing machines every night, accomplishing restoration and repair that seems almost supernatural to people accustomed to modern sleep that often leaves them feeling tired and unrested. This wasn't wishful thinking or primitive superstition. This was sophisticated utilization of the human body's incredible innate healing capabilities that can only be fully accessed during deep, undisturbed sleep. Feel yourself beginning to understand why their sleep was so extraordinarily restorative as you watch their nightly healing process unfold. Without artificial light to suppress melatonin production, their bodies flooded with this master hormone that coordinates cellular repair throughout every organ system. Without processed foods or synthetic chemicals to disrupt natural healing processes, their systems operated with the efficiency that human biology achieved over millions of years of evolution. Watchers' wounds that would sideline modern humans for weeks heal with remarkable speed and strength. Picture hunters returning from dangerous encounters with cuts, bruises, and strains that begin mending immediately once they enter their optimized sleep cycles. See their bodies prioritizing healing during rest periods with an efficiency that modern medicine tries to replicate through expensive treatments and interventions. But the most remarkable aspect of their healing sleep was its effect on their immune systems. Picture their bodies using every night as an opportunity to strengthen defenses against the constant stream of bacteria, viruses, and parasites that would be life-threatening without modern antibiotics and medical care. Their sleep-optimized immune systems operating at peak efficiency, creating the robust health that allowed survival in conditions that would quickly overwhelm modern immune systems weakened by chronic sleep disruption. Feel your own body's healing capabilities beginning to awaken as you understand what becomes possible when sleep is truly restorative rather than merely unconscious time passing. Your cells carry the same repair programming that allowed your ancestors to achieve miraculous healing through nothing more than perfect rest in optimal conditions. Watch as their sleep architecture creates ideal conditions for growth. Hormone release at levels that modern people rarely achieve due to disrupted sleep patterns and artificial light exposure. Picture their bodies using these powerful healing hormones to repair muscle tissue, strengthen bones, and regenerate organs with the efficiency of the most advanced medical treatments. See how their deep sleep phases trigger the glymphatic system, the brain's waste removal process that clears toxins, metabolic waste, and inflammatory compounds that would otherwise accumulate and create cognitive decline. Their nightly brain cleaning so thorough that they woke each morning with crystal clear thinking and emotional balance that lasted throughout demanding days. Picture broken bones healing not just correctly, but stronger than before the injury. Imagine immune systems becoming more sophisticated and effective after encountering and successfully overcoming challenges during optimal sleep recovery. Visualize nervous systems repairing and strengthening themselves through rest periods that modern sleep often fails to provide, but their healing sleep went beyond physical restoration to accomplish emotional and psychological healing that would astound modern therapists. Watch as their optimal sleep cycles naturally process traumatic experiences, integrating difficult memories in ways that build resilience, rather than creating ongoing stress and anxiety. Picture mind that encounter life-threatening danger during the day, then use that night's sleep to transform the experience into wisdom, strength, and improved future responses. Their dream processing so sophisticated that trauma becomes teaching, fear becomes preparation, and stress becomes the raw material for enhanced capabilities. Feel your own capacity for sleep-based healing beginning to expand as you recognize that your body possesses these same miraculous restoration abilities. Every night you have access to healing, technologies that your ancestors used to maintain robust health through challenges that would be impossible to survive without modern medical intervention. Watch as their healing sleep creates positive feedback loops that build health and vitality over time, each night of perfect restoration making their bodies more resilient and capable. Each morning's awakening bringing increased energy, clearer thinking, and stronger emotional balance that improved their ability to thrive rather than merely survive. Picture your own sleep beginning to serve this same healing function as you optimize rest quality and create conditions that support your body's natural restoration processes. Your nights becoming not just recovery time, but active healing periods that leave you stronger, healthier, and more capable with each passing day. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect of their healing sleep was how it enhanced capabilities that would seem supernatural to modern observers. As their bodies achieved perfect physical restoration night after night, their minds began developing abilities that went far beyond what most people today consider possible through natural human potential. Enter now the mysterious realm where Ice Age sleep mastery created intuitive abilities that modern science is only beginning to understand. As their bodies achieved perfect healing through optimal rest, their minds developed extraordinary capacities for processing subtle information, recognizing patterns and accessing knowledge that seemed to come from sources beyond ordinary conscious awareness. Picture the life and death decisions your ancestors faced, daily with incomplete information and no time for lengthy analysis. Which direction to travel when storm clouds gathered on the horizon? Which animal behaviors indicated safe hunting opportunities versus dangerous predator activity? Which social dynamics within the tribe needed attention to prevent conflicts that could threaten survival? Feel yourself beginning to understand how their optimized sleep became the foundation for developing what we now recognize as highly sophisticated intuitive processing. During their deep sleep phases, their minds worked with vast amounts of sensory data they had collected unconsciously during waking hours, micro-expressions, environmental changes, behavioral patterns, and energy shifts that their conscious minds had registered but not fully analyzed. Watch as their sleeping brains become incredibly powerful pattern recognition systems, processing subtle environmental cues, animal behaviors, weather indicators, and human social dynamics with the precision of advanced computer systems. But unlike artificial intelligence, their intuitive processing was enhanced by emotional intelligence, tribal wisdom, and direct connection to the natural world that artificial systems cannot replicate. Picture hunters whose sleep processing allowed them to wake with clear knowledge of where prey could be found, even though they had never consciously observed the animal signs that led to this conclusion. See gatherers whose dreams revealed locations of medicinal plants or seasonal food sources through subconscious integration of countless environmental clues their conscious minds had barely noticed. Feel your own capacity for intuitive processing beginning to awaken as you recognize that your brain performs similar analysis every night during optimal sleep cycles. Your subconscious mind constantly collecting information about people, environments, opportunities, and challenges that can emerge as intuitive insights when your rest is deep enough to allow complete processing. But their intuitive development went far beyond practical survival applications. Watch as their dream states became sources of creative inspiration that led to innovations in tools, techniques, and social organization that kept their tribes not just surviving, but thriving and evolving through countless generations. Picture tribal meetings where important decisions were made, not just based on observable facts, but on the collective intuitive wisdom that emerged from the group's shared dream experiences and sleep-processed insights. Their decision-making process, integrating logical analysis with deeper wisdom that came through optimized sleep and dream sharing. Archaeological evidence suggests they treated sleep-derived insights with the same respect as empirical observations, understanding that their resting minds could access information and perspectives that their waking consciousness might miss due to the limitations of focused attention and immediate survival concerns. Feel the profound intelligence of this approach to knowledge and decision-making beginning to resonate in your own understanding. Your sleeping mind has access to vast stores of information, pattern recognition capabilities, and creative connections that your waking consciousness often overlooks due to the busyness and distractions of modern life. Watch as their intuitive development created what modern psychology would recognize as highly sophisticated emotional intelligence and social awareness. Their sleep processing allowing them to understand tribal dynamics, individual needs, and group harmony with the sensitivity that kept communities functioning smoothly even under extreme survival pressure. Picture their ability to sense weather changes, animal movements, and environmental shifts that gave them crucial advantages in navigation, hunting, and protection. Their intuitive awareness so finely tuned that they could respond to subtle changes that saved lives and improved tribal survival rates significantly. But perhaps most remarkably, their intuitive development seemed to include what we might call psychic or extrasensory abilities that connected them to information sources beyond their immediate physical environment. Reports of prophetic dreams, shared visions, and communication across distances that suggest their optimized sleep states accessed levels of consciousness that modern people rarely experience. Feel your own potential for enhanced intuitive abilities beginning to stir as you understand that these capabilities weren't supernatural gifts, but natural results of sleep so pure and deep that it allowed access to the full spectrum of human consciousness and awareness. Picture your own dreams and sleep experiences beginning to serve this same function of intuitive development as you optimize your rest quality and learn to pay attention to the subtle information that emerges during your deepest sleep cycles. Your intuition not as mystical phenomenon, but as sophisticated information processing that occurs when your mind is free from the constraints and distractions that limit waking awareness. But their intuitive development was supported by a specific sleep ritual that enhanced their mind's ability to access deeper wisdom and guidance. This practice, simple yet profound, prepared their consciousness to receive the insights and revelations that would guide their survival and thriving through countless challenging situations. Discover now the nightly practice that transformed Ice Age sleep from mere physical rest into profound spiritual renewal and preparation for accessing the deepest wisdom available to human consciousness. Before surrendering to sleep each night, your ancestors performed a ritual so simple yet powerful that it optimized their brain chemistry, enhanced their dream experiences, and created the psychological foundation for the most restorative sleep imaginable. Picture the scene as their evening preparations reach their final, most sacred phase. The fire burning low, bodies arranged in the perfect warmth circle, breathing synchronized in the ancient rhythm that signals complete safety and tribal unity. Now watch as each member of the community participates in the gratitude protocol that completes their sleep preparation and opens their minds to receive the deepest healing and wisdom that rest can provide. Feel yourself settling into this ancient circle as the gratitude sharing begins, not as forced positive thinking or superficial optimism, but as genuine recognition of the day's gifts, challenges overcome, and blessings received. Listen as each person shares something specific they appreciate from the day's experiences: successful hunts that will provide food and materials, dangerous situations avoided through wisdom and cooperation, moments of beauty that remind them why survival is worth the effort. Watch as children naturally participate in this practice, their young minds being trained from the earliest age to focus on abundance and success rather than worry and fear before sleep. See how their innocent gratitude creates ripples of joy throughout the group, reminding adults of simple pleasures and discoveries that bring meaning to even the most challenging survival experiences. But this wasn't just feel-good ritual, this was sophisticated neuroscience that optimized their brain chemistry for the deepest possible sleep and most meaningful dreams. Picture what modern research has confirmed about gratitude's effect on the nervous system. Cortisol levels dropping significantly as appreciation replaces anxiety, oxytocin and dopamine increasing as social connection and positive focus activate reward systems in the brain. Feel your own nervous system beginning to shift as you imagine participating in their gratitude circle. Notice how appreciation naturally relaxes physical tension, slows breathing, and creates the inner calm that supports transition from waking consciousness to restorative sleep states. Watch as their gratitude practice ensures that memory consolidation during sleep prioritizes positive experiences, successful strategies and supportive relationships rather than dwelling on problems, failures or conflicts. Their sleeping minds programmed to strengthen neural pathways associated with success, cooperation, and resilience rather than reinforcing patterns of worry, fear, or defeat. Picture the profound psychological impact of ending each day with recognition of what went well rather than obsessing over problems or challenges. Their minds entering sleep with confidence, appreciation, and positive expectations that created optimal conditions for healing dreams and restorative sleep cycles. But their gratitude protocol went deeper than individual appreciation to create collective acknowledgement of tribal blessings that strengthened community bonds and enhanced everyone's sense of security and belonging. Listen as they express appreciation not just for personal experiences but for the actions, wisdom and support of other tribe members who contributed to everyone's survival and well-being. Feel the remarkable power of this community gratitude that created psychological safety nets, stronger than any physical protection. Each person knowing they were valued, appreciated, and essential to the tribe's success. This recognition creating the deep sense of belonging that eliminated the isolation and anxiety that disrupts modern sleep for so many people. Watch as their gratitude practice activates what modern science recognizes as the vagus nerve response that triggers profound relaxation and optimal conditions for healing sleep. Their appreciation, creating physiological changes that support immune function, growth hormone release, and the deep sleep phases where miraculous restoration occurs. Picture your own gratitude practice beginning to serve the same function as you recognize the abundance and blessings in your modern life that far exceed what your ancestors could have imagined. Your appreciation for safety, comfort, medical care, communication technology, and social connections creating the same brain chemistry optimization that supported their perfect sleep. But perhaps most importantly, their gratitude practice created the mental and emotional foundation for accessing what they considered the most precious aspect of sleep, connection with ancestral wisdom and spiritual guidance that came through dreams and deep sleep states. Feel your own appreciation deepening as you recognize that you have access to the same gratitude-enhanced sleep that created the foundation for their most profound and meaningful rest experiences. Tonight, your gratitude can serve the same function of optimizing your brain chemistry and preparing your consciousness for the deepest, most healing sleep possible. Watch as their gratitude circle reaches its completion, each person having contributed to the collective appreciation that bathes the entire group in feelings of abundance, safety, and spiritual connection. Their minds now perfectly prepared for the sleep state that they considered sacred, communion with forces greater than individual consciousness. This gratitude-enhanced sleep became the gateway to their most extraordinary rest experience. Connection with ancestral wisdom that provided guidance, healing, and spiritual nourishment that sustained them through the greatest challenges human beings have ever faced. Prepare now to enter the most sacred dimension of Ice Age sleep mastery, the profound connection with ancestral wisdom that your forebears accessed through their deepest sleep states. In their understanding, optimized rest wasn't just physical restoration or even mental processing, but spiritual communion with the vast intelligence and love of those who had walked the earth before them and continued to guide their descendants through dreams, visions, and intuitive guidance. Picture their consciousness settling into the deepest phases of sleep, where the boundaries between individual awareness and universal wisdom become beautifully, mysteriously permeable. In these profound states, they regularly experienced dreams featuring deceased tribal members who shared crucial information, hunting locations that had been successful in previous years, weather predictions based on patterns observed over lifetimes, healing knowledge passed down through generations of tribal wisdom keepers. Feel yourself beginning to understand that these weren't primitive superstitions or wishful fantasies, but sophisticated access to what modern science recognizes as genetic memory, cultural knowledge embedded in neural networks, and intuitive processing of environmental information that transcends individual experience and conscious awareness. Watch as sleeping hunters receive guidance from grandfathers who had tracked the same migration routes for decades, their dream wisdom providing insights into animal behavior and seasonal patterns that proved remarkably accurate when applied to waking hunting strategies. See sleeping gatherers learning from ancestral mothers about medicinal plants, food preparation, and child-rearing techniques that had sustained the tribe through countless generations. Picture sleeping healers connecting with ancient shamans who shared knowledge of herbs, healing rituals and spiritual practices that treated not just physical symptoms, but the deeper energetic and emotional imbalances that could threaten individual and tribal well-being. Their ancestral dream teachers providing comprehensive healing wisdom that integrated body, mind, and spirit in ways that modern medicine is only beginning to rediscover. But these ancestral dream connections weren't just practical information sharing. They provided psychological comfort, spiritual nourishment, and emotional healing that sustained tribal members through the trauma and stress of daily survival challenges. Picture sleeping children receiving visits from beloved grandparents who offered comfort, encouragement, and the deep assurance that they were loved and protected by forces greater than immediate physical circumstances. Feel your own connection to this vast ancestral network beginning to awaken as you recognize that your DNA carries not just genetic information, but access to the accumulated wisdom, love, and spiritual strength of thousands of generations who successfully navigated challenges far greater than anything you face in modern life. Watch as their ancestral dream experiences create continuous threads of cultural wisdom that connect past, present, and future in seamless tapestries of knowledge and spiritual guidance. Each generation receiving not just biological inheritance, but conscious access to the learned wisdom, successful strategies, and deep spiritual insights of their ancestors. Picture the remarkable psychological strength this created for individuals facing life-threatening challenges. Knowing they weren't alone in their struggles, that countless ancestors had faced similar difficulties and not only survived but thrived, passing on their strength and wisdom through spiritual connections that death could not break. But modern science suggests these experiences, while subjectively real and practically valuable, were sophisticated manifestations of genetic memory activation, cultural knowledge retrieval, and unconscious pattern recognition that emerged during optimal sleep states rather than literal supernatural communication. Feel the profound beauty of this understanding that honors both the spiritual meaning these experiences held for your ancestors and the remarkable capabilities of human consciousness that can access vast stores of inherited wisdom during deep sleep states. Picture your own potential for connecting with ancestral wisdom through optimized sleep that creates conditions for accessing genetic memories, cultural knowledge, and inherited insights that can provide guidance, comfort, and practical wisdom for navigating your modern challenges with the strength and wisdom of countless generations. Watch as their ancestral dream connections create the final element in their perfect sleep system, the deep spiritual assurance that they were part of something much greater than individual survival, connected to an eternal flow of human love, wisdom, and resilience that could never be broken by temporary challenges or even physical death. Feel this same spiritual connection beginning to stir in your own consciousness as you recognize your place in the same eternal human story, your access to the same ancestral wisdom and love that sustained your forebears through the greatest challenges in human history. But now we must address the crucial question that determines whether this ancient sleep mastery remains fascinating history or becomes practical transformation in your modern life. How can you recreate these perfect sleep conditions and access these profound rest experiences using modern resources and understanding. Begin now the practical transformation of your modern environment into a sleep sanctuary that honors 40,000 years of human sleep wisdom while utilizing contemporary resources and understanding. Your bedroom can become a powerful recreation of the perfect Ice Age sleep environment, combining ancient principles with modern materials to create conditions that activate your ancestral sleep programming and restore the deep, healing rest that your nervous system has been craving. Picture yourself walking through your current sleep space with new eyes, seeing not just a bedroom, but a potential sleep laboratory where you can experiment with creating optimal conditions for the kind of rest that transformed your ancestors from merely surviving humans into thriving, intuitive, powerfully healthy people who mastered the art of renewal through perfect sleep. Feel yourself beginning to understand the specific environmental characteristics that made Ice Age sleep so extraordinarily restorative. Complete darkness that allowed maximum melatonin production and deepest sleep cycles. Optimal temperature around 65 degrees Fahrenheit that supported natural thermoregulation and prevented sleep disruption from overheating or cold stress. Watch as you transform your modern bedroom by addressing these fundamental requirements with contemporary solutions. Blackout curtains or eye masks that recreate the complete darkness your ancestors experienced naturally. Temperature control systems that maintain the cool environment, that signals your body to begin sleep preparation and maintain optimal rest throughout the night. Picture yourself selecting natural materials that breathe with your body the way animal furs and plant fibers served your ancestors. Cotton, linen, wool, and other natural fabrics that regulate moisture and temperature while avoiding synthetic materials that trap heat and create uncomfortable sleeping conditions. But the most important aspect of your modern cave creation is positioning your sleep space away from the electromagnetic fields that disrupt the same natural rhythms your ancestors relied upon for perfect sleep timing and deep restoration. Feel yourself gradually creating distance between your rest area and devices that emit artificial electromagnetic radiation. Phones, computers, television screens, and other electronic equipment that interferes with your nervous system's ability to achieve optimal sleep states. Watch as you position your bed and sleeping area to maximize feelings of safety and protection while maintaining clear sight lines to entrances and exits. Your ancestral nervous system still expects to feel secure and protected during the vulnerable state of sleep, and strategic positioning can activate those same feelings of safety that allowed your forebears to rest peacefully despite external dangers. Picture yourself creating natural air circulation that prevents stuffiness while maintaining warmth, just as your ancestors positioned their sleeping areas to take advantage of cave ventilation while staying protected from cold drafts. Modern fans, air purifiers, or simply strategic window positioning can recreate the fresh, clean air that supported their optimal breathing during sleep. Feel the profound satisfaction that comes from creating a sleep environment that honors your deepest biological needs rather than fighting against them. Your bedroom becoming not just a place where you collapse from exhaustion, but a carefully designed sanctuary where you can access the same deep, restorative sleep that kept your ancestors healthy and strong through the most challenging conditions imaginable. But environmental optimization is only the beginning of recreating ancestral sleep mastery. Watch as you prepare to establish the evening rituals that will signal your nervous system to begin the transition from day consciousness to the sacred state of restorative rest. Picture yourself looking around your newly optimized sleep sanctuary and feeling the same sense of safety, comfort, and anticipation that your ancestors experienced every evening as they prepared for rest in their carefully chosen caves. Your modern cave ready to support the same profound sleep experiences that sustained human thriving for thousands of generations. But creating the perfect environment is meaningless without the rituals and practices that activate your body's sleep preparation systems and signal your nervous system that it's time to transition from the activity of day to the restoration of night. Master now the simple yet powerful evening ritual that will signal your nervous system to begin the ancient sleep transition process, transforming your bedtime from a potentially anxious struggle into a sacred ceremony that honors your deepest biological needs and activates your ancestral sleep programming within minutes. Picture yourself beginning this ritual exactly as your ancestors did, not by collapsing into unconsciousness from exhaustion, but by consciously and deliberately creating the bridge between day consciousness and night restoration that respects the magnitude of what's about to occur when you surrender to sleep. Feel yourself moving through the first minute of your ritual by securing your environment in the same way your ancestors ensured their physical safety before rest. Check that doors are locked, adjust temperature controls, turn off electronic devices, and create the basic security that allows your nervous system to shift from vigilance to restoration mode. Watch as this simple environmental securing has immediate effects on your stress levels and mental state. Your primitive brain recognizes these actions as the safety preparations that have preceded human sleep for thousands of years, automatically beginning the physiological shift toward rest even before you complete the full ritual. Move now into the second minute of your ritual by connecting with loved ones in your household or through brief, positive communication that recreates the tribal bonding that was essential to your ancestors' perfect sleep. Whether through gentle words with family members, a brief, loving text message, or simply holding someone you care about in your thoughts with appreciation and love. Picture this connection creating the same sense of community and belonging that allowed your ancestors to sleep, peacefully knowing they were valued members of a group that would protect and care for them throughout the night. Your modern version of their tribal bond creating the psychological safety that supports deep, restorative sleep. Enter the third minute of your ritual by expressing genuine gratitude for 3 specific experiences from your day, recreating the appreciation practice that optimized your ancestors' brain chemistry for healing sleep. Not forced positivity, but authentic recognition of moments, achievements, or blessings that deserve acknowledgement and appreciation. Feel your nervous system responding to this gratitude practice with the same cortisol reduction, oxytocin release, and vagus nerve activation that prepared your ancestors' bodies for optimal sleep cycles. Your appreciation, creating the ideal biochemical conditions for deep rest and meaningful dreams. Spend the 4th minute of your ritual visualizing protection and safety around yourself and your loved ones, recreating the security imagery that allowed your ancestors to surrender completely to sleep despite external dangers. Picture yourself surrounded by circles of light, protection, and love that keep you safe throughout the night and ensure peaceful, restorative rest. Watch as this visualization activates the same psychological safety systems that enabled your ancestors to achieve profound sleep, even while surrounded by predators and environmental threats far more dangerous than anything you face in your secure, modern environment. Complete your ritual in the 5th minute by setting a gentle intention for your sleep and dreams, asking your subconscious mind to provide healing, wisdom, guidance, or simply the deepest rest possible. Not anxious, demanding, but gentle invitation for your sleeping mind to serve your highest good through optimal restoration and meaningful dream experiences. Picture this intention setting, creating the same receptive mental state that allowed your ancestors to receive guidance, healing, and wisdom through their dream experiences and deep sleep cycles. Your modern ritual opening the same channels of inner wisdom and restoration that sustained them through countless challenges. Feel the remarkable transformation that occurs as you complete this 5-minute ritual night after night. Your nervous system beginning to anticipate and prepare for sleep from the moment you begin the familiar sequence. Your body automatically starting to produce melatonin, reduce core temperature, and shift into parasympathetic mode as soon as you initiate your personal sleep ceremony. Watch as this simple ritual becomes a powerful anchor that can induce relaxation and sleep preparation, even in challenging environments or stressful circumstances. Your nervous system recognizing these familiar actions as signals for safety, restoration, and the transition to optimal sleep regardless of external conditions. But even the most perfect ritual cannot overcome the modern sleep disruptors that would have been deadly to your Ice Age ancestors. These electromagnetic and chemical interferences must be addressed before you can access the full power of ancestral sleep mastery. Understand now why the same electromagnetic fields that surround you constantly in modern life would have been immediately fatal to your Ice Age ancestors, and discover how to create the clean electromagnetic environment that allows your nervous system to access the natural rhythms that guided perfect sleep for thousands of generations. Picture your ancestors living in perfect electromagnetic harmony with Earth's natural field patterns, their circadian rhythms synchronized with geomagnetic cycles, lunar influences, and seasonal light variations without any artificial interference whatsoever. Their nervous systems developed in this pristine electromagnetic environment, creating exquisitely sensitive natural rhythm detection that modern EMF exposure disrupts at the most fundamental levels. Feel yourself beginning to understand why modern sleep problems have become epidemic despite advances in comfort, safety, and medical understanding. Your nervous system is trying to achieve the same natural sleep cycles that your ancestors mastered, but constant exposure to artificial electromagnetic fields disrupts the very biological processes that regulate sleep timing, depth, and restoration quality. Watch as you identify the major EMF sources in your sleep environment that interfere with optimal rest. Cell phones that emit radiation even when not in active use, disrupting melatonin production and sleep cycle regulation. Wireless routers broadcasting constantly throughout your home, creating electromagnetic interference that your nervous system experiences as subtle stress signals even during sleep. Picture the cumulative effect of these artificial fields on your sleep architecture. Deep sleep phases shortened or interrupted by electromagnetic stimulation that your brain interprets as alertness signals. REM cycles disrupted by artificial frequencies that interfere with natural brainwave patterns. Growth hormone release reduced by EMF exposure that prevents your body from achieving the deepest restorative sleep phases. But understanding the problem is only the first step toward recreating the electromagnetic cleanliness that supported your ancestors' perfect sleep. Feel yourself beginning to implement practical solutions that restore natural electromagnetic conditions in your sleep sanctuary. Watch as you create distance between your sleeping area and major EMF sources, positioning your bed away from electrical panels, large appliances, and wireless devices that emit strong electromagnetic fields throughout the night. Your ancestral nervous system needs several feet of separation from these artificial field generators to achieve optimal sleep states. Picture yourself establishing an evening routine that reduces EMF exposure for several hours before bedtime, allowing your nervous system time to recalibrate to natural rhythms before sleep, switching devices to airplane mode, unplugging unnecessary electronics, and creating an electromagnetic quiet zone that honors your body's need for natural field conditions. Feel the profound difference that occurs when you sleep in an environment that approaches the electromagnetic cleanliness your ancestors experienced naturally. Your nervous system finally able to synchronize with natural rhythms rather than fighting against artificial interference. Your sleep cycles naturally deepening and lengthening as your body accesses its innate restoration programming. But electromagnetic field management is only one aspect of recreating the natural rhythm, synchronization that supported ancestral sleep mastery. Watch as you align your daily light exposure patterns with the natural cycles that regulated your ancestors' sleep-wake rhythms with perfect precision. Picture yourself seeking natural sunlight exposure during early morning hours, recreating the dawn light signals that told your ancestors' bodies when to begin the daily alertness cycle and start suppressing melatonin production. Your modern light exposure, programming your circadian rhythms the same way natural sunrise guided perfect sleep, timing for thousands of years. Feel yourself gradually reducing artificial light exposure during evening hours, especially the blue light wavelengths that disrupt melatonin production and prevent your body from beginning its natural sleep preparation process. Your evening lighting becoming dimmer and warmer, recreating the sunset. Conditions that triggered sleep preparation in your ancestors' nervous systems watch. As these natural rhythm restoration practices begin to restore the automatic sleep timing that made rest effortless and natural for your ancestors, your body beginning to feel tired at appropriate evening hours and naturally awakening refreshed at optimal morning times, without the struggle and artificial stimulation that characterizes disrupted modern sleep. But even perfect electromagnetic and light management cannot overcome the nutritional disruptions that prevent modern bodies from achieving the brain chemistry that supported your ancestors' extraordinarily restorative sleep. Discover now how the foods your Ice Age ancestors consumed before sleep created optimal brain chemistry for deep, restorative rest, while modern dietary patterns often prevent the neurotransmitter production and blood sugar stability that are essential for achieving the profound sleep that your body desperately needs. Picture your ancestors' pre-sleep nutrition consisting entirely of natural, unprocessed foods that supported optimal sleep chemistry without any of the artificial additives, processed sugars, or synthetic compounds that disrupt modern sleep at the biochemical level. Their evening meals creating steady blood sugar levels, optimal magnesium absorption, and natural tryptophan availability that work together to produce the brain chemistry for perfect sleep. Feel yourself beginning to understand why modern sleep problems often stem from nutritional disruptions that would have been impossible in your ancestors' natural food environment. Their bodies never had to process the refined sugars that create blood sugar spikes and crashes, disrupting sleep with midnight awakenings and morning fatigue that comes from poor glucose regulation during rest. Watch as you identify the modern foods that prevent optimal sleep chemistry and begin replacing them with ancestral alternatives that support the same neurotransmitter production and metabolic stability that created perfect rest for your forebears. Eliminating the processed sugars, artificial sweeteners, and refined carbohydrates that create blood sugar instability and disrupt sleep cycles throughout the night. Picture yourself consuming natural fats, quality proteins, and mineral-rich foods during your evening hours, recreating the nutritional foundation that supported your ancestors' deep sleep and powerful dream experiences. Healthy fats from sources like nuts, seeds, and wild-caught fish, providing the building blocks for optimal hormone production and nervous system function. Feel your body beginning to respond to ancestral nutrition patterns that create steady energy levels throughout the night rather than the blood sugar crashes that wake modern people at 3 or 4 in the morning feeling anxious and restless. Your metabolism learning to burn fat for fuel during sleep, providing steady energy for healing and restoration processes. But perhaps most importantly, your ancestral nutrition approach eliminates the synthetic chemicals, preservatives, and artificial additives that your nervous system experiences as toxins, requiring processing and elimination during sleep hours when your body should be focused entirely on healing and restoration. Watch as you time your eating patterns to support optimal sleep chemistry, consuming your largest meals earlier in the day when your ancestors would have processed their major nutrition intake, allowing several hours for digestion before sleep, so your body's energy can focus on restoration rather than food processing during rest hours. Picture your pre-sleep nutrition consisting of gentle, easily digestible foods that provide the specific nutrients needed for neurotransmitter production and nervous system calm. Natural sources of magnesium, tryptophan, and B vitamins that support serotonin and melatonin production without the artificial supplements that often disrupt natural hormone balance. Feel the remarkable difference in your sleep quality as your nutrition begins to support rather than disrupt your body's natural rest chemistry. Your nervous system finally able to achieve the biochemical balance that supported your ancestors' extraordinarily restorative sleep experiences. But nutritional optimization, while crucial, is meaningless without the complete integration of all ancestral sleep principles into a unified system that transforms your modern rest experience from struggle to mastery, from disruption to profound restoration. As we reach the completion of this profound journey through 40,000 years of human sleep wisdom, feel yourself settling into the deepest understanding of what you have truly received tonight. This isn't just information about historical sleep practices. This is your birthright, your inheritance, your reconnection to the most powerful healing and restoration system ever. Developed by human beings, picture yourself now as the inheritor of an unbroken chain of ancestors who survived the ultimate test of human endurance and mastery. Every technique you have learned tonight, the breathing patterns that optimize nervous system function, the protection psychology that creates unshakable peace, the gratitude practices that enhance brain chemistry, the healing visualizations that activate cellular repair. These aren't new discoveries requiring years of practice to master. They are your genetic inheritance, coded in your DNA, waiting for you to remember and reclaim them. Feel the profound truth settling into every cell of your body as you recognize that you carry within you the sleep mastery of thousands of generations who face challenges that would be impossible for modern humans to survive, yet found not just survival, but profound thriving through the power of perfect rest and restoration. Tonight, as you prepare for your own sleep, you are not struggling with insomnia or battling your body's natural rhythms. You are not a person with sleep problems trying to fix something that's broken. You are a descendant of the greatest sleepers in human history, coming home to abilities and wisdom that have been temporarily forgotten but never lost. Watch as your understanding transforms from seeing sleep as necessary unconsciousness to recognizing rest as the most sophisticated healing technology ever developed. Your nights becoming not time lost from productive activity, but the most productive periods possible when your body performs miraculous repair, your mind processes experiences into wisdom, and your spirit connects to sources of guidance and renewal that transcend individual consciousness. Picture yourself settling into sleep tonight with the same confidence and anticipation that your ancestors felt every evening as they prepared for their nightly journey into healing, wisdom, and spiritual connection. Your rest not vulnerable surrender to unconsciousness, but powerful activation of restoration systems that will leave you stronger, wiser, and more capable with each passing night. Feel the protection of countless generations surrounding you as you prepare for sleep. You are not alone in some isolated struggle with rest. You are embraced by the love and wisdom of thousands of ancestors who mastered the art of peaceful sleep under conditions far more challenging than anything you will ever face. Their strength flows through your bloodstream. Their calm lives in your nervous system. Their healing abilities activate in every cell of your body. But this connection to ancestral wisdom goes beyond individual restoration to place you within the eternal flow of human experience, where your rest contributes to and draws from a reservoir of collective healing and wisdom that stretches from the beginning of human consciousness to the future generations, who will inherit the sleep mastery you reclaim. Tonight, picture your dreams tonight, connecting you to this vast network of human experience, where individual rest becomes participation in the ongoing story of human thriving, resilience, and evolution. Is sleep not just personal restoration, but contribution to the collective wisdom and strength that sustains our entire species? Feel yourself receiving the eternal sleep blessing that has been passed down through countless generations, now offered to you as recognition of your place in this unbroken chain of survival, wisdom, and love. May you sleep tonight with the confidence of the cave painters who created beauty even in the harshest conditions. May you rest with the peace of the mammoth. Hunters who transform danger into opportunity through perfect cooperation and trust. Let the ancient rhythms guide you now into sleep that honors every ancestor who survived so that you could exist. Every challenge they overcame so that you could thrive. Every night they slept peacefully so that their strength and wisdom could flow through your dreams and restoration. The test that would have killed you in minutes has become your pathway to the most profound rest of your life. The ice age that challenged your ancestors beyond imagination has become your connection to sleep mastery beyond anything modern life typically provides. Sleep. Now with absolute certainty that you are designed for perfect rest, protected by 40,000 years of survival wisdom, worthy of the deepest healing and restoration that sleep can provide. Your ancestors sleep peacefully knowing that their legacy lives on in your dreams, your healing, your strength. You are their descendant. You carry their resilience. You possess their sleep mastery. Their perfect rest lives in your DNA, waiting to be activated by your choice to honor the ancient wisdom that flows through your nervous system, your breathing, your dreams. The Ice Age sleepers rest with you tonight and every night. You are never alone in your journey toward perfect sleep. You are never without the protection and guidance of those who mastered rest under the most challenging conditions imaginable. You are home. You are safe. You are exactly where you belong in the eternal cycle of human rest and restoration. Let their ancient peace become your modern healing. Let their tribal safety become your personal sanctuary. Let their perfect sleep become your nightly miracle. Sleep now, beloved descendant of survivors, knowing that every breath connects you to their strength. Every heartbeat carries their love. Every moment of rest honors their legacy and activates their wisdom in your modern life. The journey is complete. The wisdom is received. The blessing is given. Perfect sleep awaits you now and always.